Some killers seek revenge, some seek control, and some, in their own minds, believe they are saving the world. In the early 1970s, a quiet California community was shaken by a series of seemingly random murders. They were carried out by a man who was convinced that each life he took was preventing a catastrophic earthquake from destroying the state. This is Crime Scene Archives, and this is the deeply disturbing case of Herbert Mullen. Herbert Mullen didn't begin his life as someone people feared. Far from it. He was described as polite, intelligent, and even well-liked growing up in California. Friends saw him as a quiet but normal kid, someone you'd expect to live an ordinary, uneventful life. But beneath that calm surface, something was beginning to unravel. During his teenage years, Mullen experienced a devastating emotional blow when one of his close friends died unexpectedly. Those who knew him would later say, this single moment marked a noticeable and deeply worrying change. He started to display withdrawn behavior, a growing sense of paranoia and emotional instability. What once looked like simple shyness began to look a lot more like complete isolation. As Mullen moved into adulthood, his mental health continued its downward spiral. He started reporting vivid hallucinations and strange beliefs. He heard voices, felt an overwhelming sense of paranoia, and developed a growing fear that unseen forces were manipulating his reality. His use of drugs and untreated psychiatric symptoms only intensified this instability, pushing him further into a world of delusion. Eventually, Mullen developed a core belief that would become the driving force behind everything that followed. He believed that natural disasters, specifically earthquakes, required human sacrifices to be prevented. And more terrifyingly, he believed that he had been chosen to carry out those sacrifices for the good of humanity. In 1972 and 1973, Mullen began to act on these terrifying delusions. His victims were not enemies. They were not chosen for any personal reasons at all. They were simply available. A homeless man, a young college student, a priest, a woman, even some of his acquaintances. This randomness created a chilling pattern, one that made the entire community feel unsafe in a way that targeted violence never does. Because when victims are random, anyone can imagine themselves being next. The fear was palpable. One of the most haunting aspects of Mullen's crimes was the eerie calmness that surrounded them. He didn't flee in a panic after a killing. He didn't attempt to create elaborate cover-ups or hide evidence. In his mind, he wasn't committing atrocities. He truly believed he was preventing mass death. Each person he killed, he would later claim, was a necessary act to stop a devastating earthquake from ripping California apart. It was a horrifying inversion of morality where murder was twisted into an act of protection. Mullen was eventually arrested after a final killing brought investigators directly to his doorstep. When they questioned him, he did not deny his responsibility for the string of murders that had terrorized the area. Instead, he calmly explained his reasoning. He told them he believed the voices guiding him were real. He believed the sacrifices were not only necessary, but heroic. He believed he had saved countless lives from certain doom. For the investigators, the challenge shifted from proving his guilt to simply trying to understand the fractured mind behind the unimaginable violence. Psychiatric evaluations soon revealed that Mullen was suffering from severe schizophrenia and deeply entrenched delusions. Unlike many offenders who might attempt to use mental illness as a strategic defense, Mullen's beliefs appeared to be persistent, immersive, and tragically genuine. Yet, the legal system faced an incredibly difficult question. If someone truly believes they are preventing a disaster, does that remove their responsibility for the real harm they cause? The court ultimately had to make a decision. Despite acknowledging his delusions, they concluded that Herbert Mullen remained legally accountable for his actions. He was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. His case remains one of the most unsettling intersections of severe mental illness and violent crime, not just because of the cruelty involved, but because of the chilling sincerity behind the delusion. The victims were real. The fear was real. And the tragedy left behind questions that have no easy or comfortable answers. Could early intervention have prevented this descent into madness? Were there warning signs that were tragically missed by those around him? And where does society draw the line between compassion for the mentally ill and the absolute need for protection from their actions? A man who believed murder could prevent disaster. A community left searching for meaning in the chaos. And a case that reminds us that the most frightening violence isn't always driven by hatred or malice. Sometimes it's driven by a deeply held but horribly broken belief. What are your thoughts on this? Were Mullen's actions the result of an untreated illness, a matter of personal responsibility, or a complex and tragic mix of both? Share your perspective in the comments below, because some cases aren't just about understanding evil. They are about understanding how fragile reality itself can become inside the human mind. Thank you for watching Crime Scene Archives. If you find these deep dives into complex cases compelling, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation.